Hello there, I'm Rebecca McComas, and I am one of the conference co-chairs for the 2020 IAAHPC virtual conference. I am making this recording for you today to help give you some tips and tricks for making a great recording presentation for the conference this year. Let me dive right in. So here's the timeline for what we are going to be doing. In the month of August, go ahead and prepare your slides, practice your presentation, and make your recording. You can use Loom to make your recording, or this one, for example, I am doing in Zoom, just to show two different ways of doing it. On September 1st, your recording will be due to Colleen, and here's the email address that you can send it to, colleen@iahpc.org. The conference will run live between October 1st and the 4th. The reason I put the 2nd through the 4th on this slide is because on the 1st will be our keynote presentation, but your presentation will be scheduled sometime between the 2nd and the 4th. And the way this will work is that you will make a recording in advance, which you send to us by September 1st, and we play that recording during the time slot that your presentation has been given. What you and your room moderator will be doing is participating in a live chat throughout your presentation in a live format. So with the attendees who are in person, they will be able to chat questions to you or have discussion in that chat feature. And then later on in the month of October, we will be sharing with all of our presenters some information on the evaluations that were completed by the attendees. So the presentations will all be recorded, as I said, and you have several different options. Loom recording software is one option. You can record a Zoom session like I'm doing right now, where I'm screen sharing my slides. Or if you have another type of recording software that is your favorite, that's fine too. So using Loom. Loom is a free recording software that is very easy to use. It allows editing, and the nice thing about it is that it stores all of your videos on their server, so you don't have to upload into YouTube or anything else. You can download the free Loom for Desktop app, and that is how you record your video using a bubble in the bottom of the PowerPoint slide, and I'll show you in just a moment what that looks like. Here's the URL for doing that download. In the Loom Help Center, they have really good instructions for recording your video using PowerPoint. So do check that out if you decide to use Loom. So here's what the screenshot looks like. I did a sample recording of a speed rounds presentation, which is just a shorter presentation for the conference. And this is what it looks like. Your slide will take up most of the screen, and you will be in a little bubble on that lower left side of the screen. All right, in order to make a great video, no matter what software you end up using, a really good rule of thumb is to make sure that your computer is at eye level, your camera, and that's for the best view. I'm recording this afternoon using my laptop, and I have it on a little stand about that tall because otherwise I'll be looking down at my camera and it's kind of, this is a much better view. So I would recommend doing that if you can. If you are using Loom, I would talk for an extra 30 seconds to a minute at least after you're finished with your presentation, because you're going to later edit that out, but you don't want Loom to cut it off before your presentation was actually finished. If you are using Loom, be very patient. It takes several minutes for the video to process after you're done. If you're recording a full 40-minute presentation, it will take many minutes. So I would recommend leaving your office, going somewhere, heat up your beverage, let the dog outside, whatever you need to do so that you're patient and you come back. Loom doesn't really give you any indication that it's doing anything. It sort of just looks like your video didn't work, but that is not true. Your video did work. It just takes them time to process it. After recording, no matter what software you happen to be using, do trim off the beginning and the end to tighten it up and make sure that it that it's edited for the best length. You can also trim out spots in the middle if you need to edit for time. Let's say you made your recording and it took you 2 or 3 minutes longer than it should have. You can always edit out a section in the middle with one slide, for example, if that one took you longer than some of the others, or maybe it wasn't as important. When you have a presentation, what you want to do is label it with your last name, then a comma, and then the title of your presentation. And that's all you need to put in there. That's how we will organize them for the software. Now there's something a little different that we're asking all of our presenters to do, and that is at the start of your presentation, we need for you to include this slide. It's a special slide that measures out 60 seconds of silence. And I know that sounds a little weird, but here's why we're doing that. The room moderator for your session is going to be chatting with the attendees in the chat feature, just getting everybody in and oriented and ready to go before your presentation actually starts. So how we are going to accomplish that is we're sending you a PowerPoint file. That PowerPoint file consists of one single slide, and in that slide is embedded a 60-second timer, and I'm going to show you in just a minute what that slide looks like and how it works. To insert that into your slide deck, you copy and paste it into your slide deck. So you can do that either with a Control-C to copy it, open up your own slide deck and do a Control-V to paste it, or many people are more familiar with a right mouse click, copy, and then a right mouse click in their own presentation to paste. You want to move that 60-second slide timer up to the very first position. You want it in front of all of your own slides, including in front of your title slide. This is what that looks like. And this is before I've clicked anything. So when you begin your recording, you're going to want to start your recording software, and then this will be your first slide that's visible. If you click one time, you'll notice that starting from the left-hand side of the screen, this little bar is coming across. That bar is timed to exactly 60 seconds. It takes 60 seconds for it to get all the way over to the right-hand side of the screen. I don't have the patience to wait 60 seconds right now. So I'm going to click a second time, which advanced it all the way. For you, you're going to wait. And you're going to wait silently. Don't say anything during that time. Don't introduce yourself or anything at all. When that timer moves all the way over to the right, click one time and your next slide will show. And for you, that's going to be your title slide. That's when you want to introduce yourself, introduce the title of your presentation, and then go ahead forward, just like usual. So it's going to feel a little bit like an awkward 60 seconds of silence, but just look pleasantly out at the screen at us. Smile if you like or don't, but just don't make any noise during that time. All right, so when you receive that PowerPoint file, at the bottom in the notes field are these instructions, exactly verbatim. If you don't see the notes field, maybe you don't use the notes field when you're creating a PowerPoint, but I do all the time. If you don't happen to do that, you see my little mouse in the middle of the screen. You just go down to the bottom and some little arrows will appear and you can expand or open that notes field. Okay, so you want to add this slide to your slide deck, put it in front of all of your slides, and when you're ready to make your recording, open up your slide deck in PowerPoint and go to the slideshow view, just like you always do when you're giving a live presentation. You want to start your recording using the Loom software or whatever software you happen to be making. Click one time on that slide to make the bar begin. Don't speak. That silent minute allows the moderator to chat with the attendees. And when the timer bar reaches the right side, just click one time and it'll advance right to your first presentation slide. All right, once you have your recording made and you've edited it the way that you want to edit and you've titled it and all of those things, you have to share your video with us. Loom, for example, will save your video to a folder. If you're using Zoom, it will save it to that section of Zoom called your recordings, meeting recordings. What we don't want you to do is try to send us your entire file. That recording file is going to be so massive that a lot of email programs won't even send it. So just email us the link and email it to Colleen@IAAHPC.org. Then we will go ahead and go through the process of uploading that video into the conference software so that it's all ready to go on the day of your presentation. Now, it's not unusual at all, and don't feel bad if you have questions about making your video. Someone is ready to help, and that someone is Carissa Lutz. And Carissa can be reached at carissa@caringpathways.com. She is a tech-savvy person who is ready to help you with any questions that you have at all about making a recording. And we are so grateful to you for agreeing to be a part of our virtual conference and for doing this thing that for many of us is fairly new, but we think it's just going to go really well. So we are looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you.